Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name's Valerie Bradford, and I'm the Member of Parliament for Kitchener South Hespeler and MC for today's event. Thank you all for taking time to be with us today. We are gathered on the unceded lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Neutral peoples. Waterloo Region is located on the traditional lands of the Haldimand Tract, comprised of 6 miles on either side of the Grand River. We are blessed to have both the Anishinaabe Outreach Center and the Healing of the 7 Generations located here in our community. And we value the service they provide to the Indigenous community and the work they do in reconciliation. I would like to invite Minister Karina Gould, Minister of Families, Children and Social Development, to share the announcement with you.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's announcement. I am really delighted to be here in Kitchener today at the museum. I was just thinking I need to bring my son here. It looks like a lot of fun, and it sounds like a lot of fun as well. I'm really delighted to be joined by my colleagues, Parliamentary Secretary Julie Dabrusin. Of course, you heard from Valerie Bradford, MP for Kitchener-Conestoga, Tim Lewis, and the Member of Parliament for Waterloo, Bardish Chagger. I'd also like to acknowledge that Mayor Verbanovic is here as well, so thank you for welcoming us to your beautiful city. And I know that Regional Chair Karen Redmond was here as well, but she had to leave for another announcement. Today's announcement is one that is really important because it's about our present and it's about our future. And it's how the federal government is working with Canadians to fight climate change. I'm really honored to be here on behalf of Minister Stephen Guilbeault, the Minister of Environment and Climate Change, to talk about the Climate Action Incentive. And we are here today to talk about making life more affordable for families while we fight climate change. Notre monde actuel est confronté à de nombreux défis et au cours des 2 dernières années, les Canadiens ont dû se serrer les coudes pour faire face à une pandémie mondiale qui a causé d'innombrables difficultés. Dans tout cela, notre gouvernement était principalement préoccupé avec la tâche de soutenir les Canadiens et leurs familles. Over the last 2 years, Canadians have been confronted with a global pandemic, and our priority as a government was to be there to support Canadians and their families. But we have also kept our eyes on the big picture too. How we build a strong future with clean air, good jobs, and a resilient economy for our children and grandchildren. And when you think about the COVID-19 pandemic, it's kind of a window into the challenges that climate change is we face with climate change. It's about making sure that we're listening to the science, that we're listening to the planet, that our government is taking action to protect people, to protect jobs, and to make sure that we have an economy for today and into the future. Our friends and allies across the world have taken notice because we found a way in Canada to put a price on pollution that puts more money back in the pockets of everyday Canadians while cutting the harmful pollution that's driving climate change. Sometimes, we hear from conservative politicians who would like you to believe that pricing pollution is a net negative for families, or that we can't afford to protect our environment while supporting our economy. And we're here to tell you today that that's simply not true. The Climate Action Incentive puts more money back in the pockets of 8 out of 10 families here in Ontario, and it remains one of our best ways to fight climate change. And make no mistake, to do nothing is the most costly policy of all. Today, we see the impact of a past decade of inaction under the previous Conservative government. And whether you are a farmer who's experiencing drought or heavy rains that are impacting your crops, or whether you're a family that's worried about air pollution and asthma, fighting climate change is something that we all have to do, and doing it today will help us in the future. So our government stepped up, and today we can see what this means to families now and for their future. Et ne vous y trompez pas, ne rien faire est la politique la plus coûteuse de toutes. Through the Climate Action Incentive Payment, we have been able to return the proceeds of pollution pricing directly to the families of Ontario. In past years, the payments were provided as part of your tax refund. But starting this year, in fact, starting this month, the payments will be provided in quarterly payments so that families can be supported throughout the year. Make sure to look for your Climate Action Incentive payment when it comes in, whether that's by direct deposit or by check. For the 2022-2023 year, a family of 4 in Ontario will receive $745, and families in rural and small communities are eligible to receive an extra 10%. Households will receive the first payment this July 15th, covering the first 2 Climate Action Incentive payments of 2022 together. Payments will follow regularly after that, every 3 months, with the next quarterly payments in October 2022 and January 2023. And we know how important that is to families struggling with the high cost of living. These new quarterly Climate Action Incentive payments coincide with the recently announced Affordability Plan, which sets out measures to address inflation and help make life more affordable for millions of Canadians. Through this plan, Canadians will begin to see improved support through the Canada Workers' Benefit, through the early learning and childcare agreements, through dental care, increases to old age security, and more affordable housing. With the cost of living on the rise, our actions will help make life more affordable for Canadians while building a strong, clean future for everyone. And I would just like to take a moment to recognize the incredibly hard work of the local MPs here in Kitchener and Waterloo region. These 3 that are here today have been fighting hard to ensure that families in Kitchener and Waterloo have a more affordable life, and part of the work that we're announcing today is a result of their hard work. Canada's approach to pollution pricing is not only one of the best ways to fight climate change, it also puts money back in the pockets of Canadians. And starting this month, families in Ontario will see those payments every 3 months. That's some good news that we could all use. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Minister Gould, for that very important announcement. At this time, I would like to invite Parliamentary Secretary Dabrusin to deliver some remarks.
Sorry, my mask keeps getting caught on these earrings. I really do need to change that up one day. There you go. Hello, everyone, and it's really nice to be here in Kitchener with my colleagues from Kitchener and Waterloo. They are tremendous colleagues to work with on all of these important issues, and I was really happy to see Minister Gould call them out and shout them out for that, because I see that hard work every day as well. So, as you heard today, we are announcing an important change to the delivery of the Climate Action Incentive payment. Families across Ontario will be getting money as part of the program now, not just once a year through rebate, but will be sent directly on a quarterly basis. This is going to help make life more affordable day to day for Ontarians, all by fighting climate change. Since 2019, our government has made sure that it is no longer free to pollute anywhere in Canada. Economists agree that a price on carbon pollution is one of the most effective, transparent, and efficient ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions that cause climate change. And pricing pollution encourages industries to become more efficient, use cleaner technologies, and innovate to find new ways to cut pollution. But fighting climate change isn't our only focus. We also designed this system to make life more affordable for families. The Climate Action Incentive is the Government of Canada's way to put money that is collected through pollution pricing back into the pockets of individuals in Ontario and some other provinces, which is especially important at this time of rising cost of living. In Ontario, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta, where the Climate Action Incentive applies, this program actually means more money back, not just breaking even, but more money back for 8 out of 10 households. Our approach maintains the price signal on carbon pollution and the incentive for businesses and consumers to choose less polluting options while addressing household cost impacts. And the greatest benefits go to households with low or middle incomes, because these households tend to spend less on energy-intensive goods, but still receive the full climate action incentive payment. The family of four here, as you heard in Ontario, will get $745 or more a year through the climate action incentive. And that can go a long way. Now, since the climate action incentive payment came into effect, the payment has been delivered to households through personal tax returns. And this meant that it was delivered only once a year. Today, the Government of Canada is pleased to announce that starting as of July 15th, the climate action incentive payments for 2022 and beyond will be delivered in quarterly installments so that families can be supported throughout the year. As a government, we've been working hard to keep Canadians healthy through the pandemic, but we didn't forget in the long view of history that climate change will remain one of the biggest challenges of our time. Pollution pricing is just one of the many measures we've taken with jobs, economy, and the environment in mind. In the last year, we've introduced the 2030 Emissions Reductions Plan, which is our roadmap to clean air, good, sustainable jobs, and a strong, resilient economy. Because a healthy environment and a healthy economy do go hand in hand. Our actions will contribute to safe and healthy communities that are cleaner, less polluted, and better tempered against the harmful effects of extreme weather. But in the meantime, we support Canadians as they make this transition. The Climate Action Incentive Payment helps. So to people here in Ontario, watch out for the Climate Action Incentive Payment that's coming this month. Delivering it on a quarterly basis is a much-needed step for families with affordability challenges today, as we all prepare for a cleaner environment for the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dabrusin, for that statement. And thank you to everyone for attending. We really appreciate this. And now I'm going to be turning things over to Akua Delfish, who will act as our moderator for the question and answer session.
Nous allons maintenant poursuivre avec les questions des médias. We will now proceed with taking questions from the media. Est-ce qu'il y a des questions? Go ahead.
Hi, Cheyenne from The Record. I just wanted to confirm some of the details about the new quarterly.
Sorry, if you could remove your mask just for the question. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, Cheyenne from The Record. I just wanted to confirm some of the details about the new quarterly payments. Will the totals stay the same based on eligibility, and when can people expect these payments? Like what months, what day?
Just to confirm, you're asking to confirm the details and if eligibility will remain the same?
Yeah.
Yeah. So eligibility does remain the same. The difference is that instead of coming on your tax return once a year after you file your taxes, is that families and households will receive 4 quarterly payments, which what we've heard from folks is that this is better and it will help in terms of managing their expenses throughout the year. And I think the important factor here is that it's an average based on the number of adults and children in a household, but importantly as well, for those who live in rural communities or small communities, they're eligible for an additional 10% because we recognize that their costs tend to be higher as well. Oh, and the payments will start on July 15th. And for the majority of people who have enrolled with CRA for direct deposit, they'll just see those payments entered into their bank account. So it's about 80% of Canadians that have enrolled through direct deposit, and those who haven't will receive a check in the mail.
Thank you. No follow-up.
Est-ce qu'il y a des autres questions? Other questions?
Hi, Chris from CTV Kitchener. I was just wondering if you can provide some examples of pollution pricing as you were talking about, where this money exactly is coming from for people that don't know exactly what pollution pricing might be.
So, sure. So when we talk about pollution pricing, we're talking about pricing the things that we don't want in our atmosphere, like CO2, right? Carbon dioxide. So it's putting a price on pollution, so carbon emissions, and that is factored into the price on goods that people purchase. And in the provinces that didn't sign on to the Canada-wide climate plan, Ontario, Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, they get the price on pollution that they've paid over the year back through their federal taxes. Other provinces put those investments into making a greener economy, for example. But we wanted to ensure that in provinces like Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, where the provincial governments didn't want to be part of this national fight against climate change, that Canadians could still be part of that fight and that they wouldn't be disadvantaged.
And just one follow-up. This is for any of our local MPs. You mentioned kind of the work that they did, that they helped with. If anyone wants to just talk about things they might have heard from residents in the Waterloo region. Obviously, we have a lot of rural areas here. Anything from the rural residents or anything that went into helping with this?
Yeah, thank you. I don't mind answering that because as the Member of Parliament for Kitchener-Conestoga, I represent most of the small communities here. And yes, the challenges are different in small communities. The drives are longer and there's just different challenges. Public transportation isn't the same. So there are less options, and that's one of the reasons that we built in that 10% increase in the climate action incentive for those smaller communities to make up for that and compensate that and give them a chance.
All right, thank you.
Est-ce qu'il y a des autres questions? Any other questions? No? OK. Comme il n'y a plus de questions des médias, ceci conclut l'événement. So if there are no further questions, this will conclude our event. We will take the opportunity to do a photo op with all of the members of Parliament. So give us one moment and we'll just organize that.